Sorry.
Next up at UFC Vegas 68, we have Jun Yong Park taking on Denis Tiuliulin. Timeout, DK. This guy's an absolute bum and he's driving me nuts. Taking on Denis Tiuliulin. Denis Tiuliulin. Jun Yong Park 15-5 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is coming off that submission win over Joseph Holmes. Denis Tiuliulin 11-6 overall. I don't have the rest of his record in front of me, so we're just going to leave it at that. And this is a very interesting fight. I'm very, very confident in Jun Yong Park here. I know you're not, so let me do my piece, and then you can do yours. The reality is Jun Yong Park is not a dangerous guy. He's not a dangerous guy, but he is very well-rounded. He's got a nice jab. He's got good cage control. He's got solid takedowns, and he works. If you go back to that Gregory Rodriguez fight, yes, he was stopped, but he was touching up Gregory Rodriguez before that happened. And we know I picked against him. You're welcome. But we know he does have incredible power. So he ended up getting to Jun Yong Park, where Jun Yong Park was touching him up on his feet. He also has very good wrestling. Denis Tiuliulin, he's a fun guy. He comes forward. He's always looking for a finish. He has no problem getting into a slugfest. He makes fights ugly. He keeps them fast-paced. But he has big-time grappling holes. He's got legit power in his hands, and he could put Park away, but he has absolute holes in the grappling. And I just think it's going to be complete exposure. I think Park's just going to come forward, grind him, take him down, and that's it. That's what that fight's going to look like. He's not dangerous. It probably goes to a decision, but I think he grinds out a win. I think it's a very straightforward win, and I think he's smart enough to stay out of trouble, especially after the Greg Rodriguez fight a few fights ago. He's been a little more careful as of late. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, you can run, but you cannot hide versus guy. I think it's Dennis. I said Denny too, but I think
it's Dennis. It is Dennis.
Okay. I'm Dennis, former lock of the week. He was the 10th of my 10 in a row. I picked 10 underdogs in a row, which is just a ridiculous feat. I still can't even believe that actually happened. Dennis was the very last one, and the reason I picked him is because he is a finisher. And the last person he fought was also another non-finisher, same type of fighter as Jun Yong Park, and that was Jamie Pickett. Obviously, Jun Yong Park is more durable than Jamie Pickett. He's a better overall fighter, but it's the same. It's like a step up, right? It's Jamie Pickett 2.0 is what I would say is Jun Yong Park is. And Dennis can come in with basically the same game plan, wait for the pressure because Jamie was bringing it a little bit as well, and then wait to land that shot and then just jump all over him because there's no threat and there's no real danger coming from Park. And I have to imagine that the odds makers made these odds because of what you said, right? And if you think he's going to get the takedowns and you think there's holes in the games for Dennis, then yeah, this should be an obvious pick for Park. I just feel like Dennis showed in his last fight improved takedown defense. I think he's one of those guys that's one of the hardest workers in the gym. He's been sparring with Sean Strickland before. He works with Renat. Everyone likes Renat and his wrestling and grappling abilities. He's always working. He's working hard. He's a motivated guy. He's already a threat on the feet. He just needs to shore up his takedown defense a little bit against a guy that's pretty good, but doesn't have explosive takedowns. I think we would both agree it's not Park's not
grinding.
Shooting, blast doubles or singles and scooping them and running the pipe. It's very methodical, which is much easier for Dennis to defend. He's much more dangerous on the feet. I love this matchup for Dennis. I think he gets in Park's face and maybe even, and I think he does find a finish, maybe late second round when he really starts pouring on that volume. You saw how he can flip a switch against Jamie Pickett and really put people away, and Park's just not a dangerous dude. So I am Dennis all the way in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Not only am I on the other side, I have a 2-unit money line on Park at minus 200. So little tiny touch, little baby amount of value there. It's at minus 205 now. But I think the gap on the ground is much wider than the gap on the feet. Jung's not dangerous on his feet, but Jun can strike. He can strike. He's got technical strike. He's got a nice jab. He can strike. He's not powerful, and his chin can get touched up, but he can strike. He's pretty technical, well-rounded. Overall, the better fighter, but also the less dangerous of the two. So you and I are on opposite sides here, but I actually put my money where my mouth was. Do you have a bet on Dennis?
I do, for premium members.
You know what's incredible about that, Jakey boy? When I do the recaps after the fights... And
I think that's a pretty good bet. Do you remember what that bet was?
No. But
I think you would agree with it as well. If you think hard, you can probably figure out what it is.
Probably. Yeah, so it's probably a world where it doesn't matter what I'm about to say. Because I was going to say, when I show the, I mentioned UFC 283, Jacob and I together are up 9 point whatever net units. If you tailed, which I never recommend just tailing bets blindly, but if you tailed every single bet we put on the screen, you would have been up 9.18 units. We have bets that contradict each other. We are two different human beings with two different looks and two different plays. And that just goes to show you how incredible it really is, because there's some bets like this, depending on what Jacob's bet is, there's not a world where we both win. I could win and he might get a refund, but we can't both win. And that's what's, there it is, wink, wink. That's what's interesting about some of these bets. So do your own research as well. But if you want to be a premium member, it's only $10. I shouldn't even have to do the sales pitch anymore. It's $10 for everything. It's not, at this point. If you haven't done it, you should. Check it out. WeOwnPicks.com. At the top, click become a member. $8,500 in DraftKings. I do like Park. I think there will be takedowns. I think there will be control time. And I think he's a good mid-level play there. But if you are on the Denis Tiuliulin side, you obviously think he wins by stoppage. So $7,700 is pretty solid price point there.
I think it's decent value, and look out for because I'm telling you that Denis, his takedown defense is improving, and he even saw Park with a takedown against Joseph Holmes get reversed against a guy like Joseph Holmes, who absolutely sucks. I told him he sucked. He was very upset about that. Now I guess Kevin Holland thinks he sucks as well, because apparently they jumped his ass. But yeah, I don't know what I was saying. I get sidetracked.
Yeah, you did get sidetracked. That made no sense. We got people in here talking about baseball. I don't know why you'd ask those questions on this stream. Monkey Knife by Strike Line 80 to 61. I'm going to leave it alone, because if Park gets the grappling going, Denis is going to have a harder time getting a 61. And if Park gets the striking going, if Denis gets the striking going, Park's going to have a hard time getting 80. So honestly, it's probably a less. But the issue is it might be a more less, or a, So I'm not going to touch that Monkey Knife Strike Line. But if you do want $50, just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners using our link. Make a deposit. I'll send you $50 as a thank you.